Hello, this is Joe Klimavicz in Vienna, Virginia. It's third week of April, and I'm here to give you a quick garden tour of my azaleas. Here we have deciduous azaleas under evaluation with a few evergreens mixed in. Another week or so this will be in full bloom, but you can see some of the variation. Trying to hybridize for yellow azaleas. These are some camellias that bloomed in the late winter, early spring. Here we have some more deciduous azaleas. I put them up against the house because they seem to be favorites of the deer and the rabbits. This one had huge, very tall trusses. They cut them off for flower arrangements for inside. This is sunny side up, original plant, and used it in a lot of the crossing. Performs very well here in Virginia in the heat and humidity. This is a Barbara Tozy azalea. Give you a quick tour up on the upper level of my azalea garden. These are just random crosses that are too good to throw away, but not good enough to name. And a lot of interesting stuff, a lot of very bright stuff. Those are throwaway azaleas or one camellia or giveaway. Some nice azaleas that may name or give away. Some of the ones in the pots, I mean, are really fancy. I want to make sure I keep them, don't lose track of them. Lots of these small ones have not bloomed before, so this is a great time of the year when you can see plants blooming for the first time. This is my cage to keep the rabbits from eating the azaleas. They seem to love eating the azaleas, and some of them were eaten down to the ground. Here are my cold frames. They're not completely filled with azaleas. They're all seedlings from this year. Typically we'll take out close to 1,000 seedlings a year. There was a rabbit just out of scene, but I'll try to open one of these up here. You can see just how big they have grown from seed. And one started the seed beginning of November. And here we have one plant that's, see the height, it's a 5-inch tray or container, and that plant has got easily 12 inches of growth on it, but I've got a lot like that. These will most likely be yellows, and got some other seedlings, evergreen seedlings mixed in, but this hopefully will bloom. I mean, the evergreens will bloom next spring, and the deciduous probably the year after. Here I am walking out of the garage. This is Joe Klimavicz, and it's third week of April, and this is what it looks like in the front of the house. The azaleas are not quite all the way open, but they're getting there. Lots, very packed in tight, lots of varieties. They're all my own varieties grown from seed. This is the front of the house. These are all red. These are Coronado Harris variety in the front here that bloom all at the same time. So those are obviously not my variety, but the rest of these in the front here are my own. And eventually I will probably try to get rid of everything that is not one of my seedlings or crosses. There's a few that are copies of the same plant, but not too many. I have produced well over 10,000 azaleas from seed. You can see the yellow in the background. That is some of the deciduous I started crossing a couple of years ago. Thought I'd walk around the path here. I've got hoses buried everywhere, but I have no underground sprinkler system, so everything's done by hand. And plants get moved on a regular basis. The bigger plants are pretty good because they've survived and stayed in place. This is the original Spirit of Valdosta plant, but if they're smaller, that means they're still under evaluation and have not been moved. This is my peony garden and some hydrangeas. I have a little bit of diversity, but not much. This is one of the main reasons why I grow azaleas. I've got this huge bank here, and I replant the bank on a regular basis. So just take a quick walk down here. This is if I was really into choreographing azaleas, I think I'd grow some kind of combination like this. These are all of my crosses, and there's Madeline Crosby, there's Bob Stewart and Don Voss is all mixed in here, but they bloom at the same time. And that's one of the things that is important, but typically I'm just growing them to see what happens. These are all yellow deciduous azaleas that are under evaluation, and so there's all kinds of things growing on this wall here. These are some of the nicer ones, nicer deciduous azaleas. You can see how many flowers are going to be on each plant. Here's something that's I've never seen this, where you have 6 buds, and each bud will have a tremendous number of flowers coming out of it. So it's very dense, makes a huge ball, and these most of them have some pretty good smell, and they are very good for cutting, but a lot of different kind mixed in. These are temporary plants, and some of them I have, like the yellows here, I haven't seen bloom. They may or may not survive. That one there's double. Tomato cage. Tremendous problems with deer and rabbits. Lots of rabbits. But this whole bank here will bloom, and again, it's pretty choreographed. It'll bloom at roughly the same time, and I'll have several weeks of nice flowering. But as you can see, things get moved around on a regular basis. In the back there, that's refrain. Back here is kind of where I put things that are going to be either given away, thrown away, or things that haven't quite bloomed yet, or they're small seedlings. Some of these I will keep try to make crosses. Most of my crosses I make after dark. Cold frames, we had some 2 nights of temperatures in the upper 20s, so I had to cover up some of the cold frames. I've got 6 or 7 cold frames that are in ground. The down in here in the garden, inside my garden fence, keep the deer out, I have a whole bunch of small deciduous that were eaten up pretty bad over the winter, so now they're in quarantine in my garden for the summer, so the deer don't go back to them. Apparently, looks like the deer like to eat deciduous more than evergreens, my experience. These azaleas here are in full sun, and because of that, require no pruning or anything. They just naturally grow very dense. This wall here is going to be mostly deciduous. These are 2 of my better ones. This is a Barbertozzi azalea. It's got some, it's really nice two-tone kind of pinks. Antoinette Martin may have gotten a little bit of frost damage last night. And then this is Sunny Side Up, an arome that I've used in a lot of my crosses. It'll bloom a little bit later. And then anything with a pink tag on it is typically something I want to use or keep or try to make crosses. For the deciduous, haven't had as much luck crossing them. So what I do is I do a lot of layering. This is a really nice set of some really nice deciduous plants up here. They're all of yellow or white with a large yellow blotch.